Welcome to another What I Would Have Done Thursday. Apologize, this video has to unfortunately be delayed. I was pretty busy over the Valentine's Day weekend and pretty much all the way leading up to it. So everything should be uploaded by Monday as of President's Day. So without further ado, let me address what I want to talk about for this particular What I Would Have Done Thursday, and that is the film Jack and Jill. Now this is probably an infamous or really well-known movie for being poorly done. It's probably considered as one of Adam Sandler's worst. It swept the Razzies the year that it came out, and it was pretty much critically panned, and the audiences thoroughly agreed with the critics that this was not something worthy of comedic material, which was primarily what the film was designed to be. And although I don't think the premise of it in and of itself was a bad premise, it is more so the execution of that premise to where it ultimately falls flat on its face. So basically, this film primarily centers around none other than the people in the title, Jack and Jill, who are twins, and basically Adam Sandler's playing a body double, so he's playing himself as a man and himself as a woman, to create this Jill character who is his twin. And the movie opens up with like twins just discussing how and what it's like to have twins or be a twin of one another, and it kind of doesn't really serve too much of a purpose. I almost felt like that could have been pretty much scrapped, and you could have just started off with Jill and Jack sort of at a young age sort of developing some kind of tension or some annoyance, and they do kind of try to show that a little bit, but it kind of falls flat on itself because it's kind of done in a more montagey way as opposed to like just having scenes play out to the point of where they finally reach adult age. See, I almost thought if this movie started off with them as kind of kids and then they worked the way up to adulthood, then we would understand more so of the characters and we would get a really in-depth sense of who they are. And then the other half of the film could be Jill sort of re-entering Jack's life, which is kind of what the film as a whole tries to do, but does it really poorly. So that's how I kind of would have structured it. Now, the problem, and obviously the main problem of this film, is the fact that it's not really funny. The way in which everything is set up and the way in which all the comedy is displayed really doesn't work to the film's advantage. And a lot of that, I think, has to do with the fact that the two main characters are just not likable. Jill is really annoying and obnoxious, but not in a way that is fun or entertaining. And she doesn't really make up with anything else within herself. It's almost like everything about her is just really just overblown and just annoying. And with Jack, you kind of get a sense of him being sort of very I don't want to say he kind of acts douchey at some points. He really comes off as just very at times I think a little bit full of himself, and he just doesn't have that likable personality that you would want to expect from a comedy like this. So again, that's what's also very detrimental to this film, is the fact that these two main characters really not only do they don't jive well together or try to not jive with each other and create something funny. They're both pretty horribly constructed characters and they don't work off each other well. So I think that is something that definitely needed to be changed there. Also, All of the side characters, obviously those two were not as well thought out, and there was a lot of things that were just really strange or just not memorable. So those needed to be given a little bit more of a presence. And the thing too is obviously there's the excessive product placement, and yeah, there's pretty much a lot of that within various different films. But this one, yeah, obviously ups it way too much and definitely needed to be downplayed. Al Pacino didn't need to be in this movie. Jill did not need to have a love interest in this movie. It should have just been primarily focused on her rekindling the family relationship with um, Jack and his family, so to speak. So, um, the way in which they have the characters introduced is not in any way, shape, or form kind of uh, it doesn't lend itself comedically well. Like he just picks her up from the airport. Like literally, there's no big surprise. Like she just shows up out of nowhere. It's just like it's all planned. And it just feels so forced. Everything that's going on, and you just feel that there's just a lot of dumb humor being thrown at this film too, which again I don't think helps it all too much either. So yeah, I think that's really what stems the comedy from really failing is the fact that there's a lack of unpredictability and a lack of just genuine creativity with these sorts of setups with these relationships with these characters. Um, because I think it could have been something that it could have come off as a little bit genuine. And again, you don't really see the exploration of twins and whatnot, but here it's just poorly thought out. It's not well constructed, and it falls flat on its face. And again, uh, had they just focused on Jack and Jill just trying to sort of become, I guess, better people, um, learning from their faults and mistakes, and having some fun comedic bits along the way, I don't think this movie would have been as terrible, and it wouldn't have uh, been sweeping the Razzies that year. It probably wouldn't have had it uh, done maybe some things that I would have suggested. I mean, it's I don't. I mean, it's pretty bad. I mean, it's pretty hard to sit through the film, and I think a lot of that just has to do with the fact that there's just nothing that's really uh, there's no heart to it. There's no sense of thought, and I think that's really what puts the film even further down the tubes for me is just the fact that it has some kind of premise that could work, but does not have thought behind the premise. So that's really where it all goes to the crapper. But I think, again, had it just tried to have these characters be more likable, had it just focused on Jack and Jill, had it not had all of these stupid product placements and really dumb humor and, just inserting the lowest common denominators of films that you see over the years being inserted, then again, something genuine could have come out of it, I think. But that's just my honest thoughts and as to what I would have done. More than happy to hear what anybody else would have done with this, if they have any thoughts as to what would, or at least what they would have changed. But I think that's ultimately all I can say for this particular video. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you all have a pleasant day, week, month, and year, and I hope to see you all in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.